All right, so here we go once again. Straight No Chaser, the podcast. We are available on Spotify. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram and Facebook. Basically, anywhere that you can find podcasts, we're there. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell everybody. My name is John, and I'm just going to kind of swing it around here, let everybody introduce themselves. And Straight No Chaser, the podcast, I'm drinking, once again, ice cold water. Love it. All right, go for it, Neil.
What's going on? We back at it again. Out here in Virginia, tired. The storm has finally settled, so we back at it again. Keltric.
Cheers. Next.
What up, Rasheem from DC? Well, living in DC from New York. Let's go, John.
There you go. We got so much to get into. We got to hurry up and jump in here. So there's been a lot of talk on the internet. There's always a lot of talk on the internet. And I think it's very important about, black men and black women, and do black men protect black women? And there's been a couple major incidents in the past week where we kind of delve into this, and we're going to talk about those in a minute. But I just wanted to kind of ask the panel here, do y'all feel that, number one, does this have any validity? Now, we don't have any women on the panel, so of course we're going to have a little bias. It's going to be skewed a little bit, but y'all are all black men. Do you feel like you have a responsibility to protect other women? Do you protect women when you get the opportunity to? What does that exactly mean? What does that look like in your lives? You know what I'm saying? Let me answer. The first question is, do you have a responsibility to protect black women, period?
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta wait. Just yes, all black women, every single one.
No. I'm answering his question because I want everybody to answer the question. He said, do we have an obligation to protect black women? The general answer is yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We have an obligation to protect women, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Now, there's a caveat to that, and that's you have an obligation to. I think your obligation is women that you know, women that you have a relationship with. If I see Becky Sue, and I don't know Becky Sue at all, I don't know if it's my obligation to step in if I think she's in harm's way.
Okay.
It's not our obligation, but I think if it's a situation where we can protect her from harm, I think we should do it. You know what I'm saying? If we can do it, if it can be done within our power to put her in a safer situation, yeah, why not? Because we all have daughters. I don't want somebody to look out for my daughter in that situation, because somebody could say the same thing you say, Keltric. I don't know her. You know what I mean? So if we can put her in a safer situation without causing due harm to us, yeah, why not?
I don't think it could be as general as that, and I think we're speaking in general terms, and there's a lot of anecdotal stuff that we can use and stuff like that, but it's impossible to say that it's every single man's responsibility to protect women. And it's more specifically because the conversation is really about black women. I think it's irresponsible to say that you, me, anybody else is responsible to protect all black women. I think we can protect how they're perceived. I think we can protect their honor. But sometimes you gotta, when we tell the Karens and the Kevins of the world, whatever they call the white guys, sometimes you gotta mind your own damn business. And so you don't know what things are going on or surrounding a circumstance that you may interject yourself in, and you be on the wrong side of it. So sometimes you have to call help, and in this case, I would say the authorities, to say, hey, I see this is going on, and that's your form of helping. I don't have to insert myself into every situation that I see to protect someone. So I don't know if that's a fair statement to say that, me, anybody else is obligated to protect, women.
I think it's based on the individual too, because I've been in this situation before, younger in New York. Me and my homeboy, we at the bus stop. We see this young lady getting beat up on. We came over there, tried to alleviate the situation.
You told us a story.
she ended up turned the situation on us when the cops came and said we jumped her boyfriend. You know what I mean? So if it wasn't for the people that were around us that said, no, X, Y, and Z was happening, we would have been hemmed up. But I mean, I think it's dependent on individual. Me personally, if I'm there and I think I see a young woman getting beat on or whatever situation that is not cool or she needs help with, if I can help her, I'm going to try to. Now, if it's beyond my scope of helping, where I need to call the police, all right, I agree with you. That's definitely something, because I got to get home back to my daughters too. So I can't put my life on the line for a stranger. But if it's within my scope of something I could do something, yeah, I'm going to try.
Yeah, but the truth is, the moment you step up, you putting your life on the line for a stranger. Not to say you shouldn't. I mean, if that's what you want to do, but you got to understand that the moment you step up to that person, you potentially putting your life on the line for a stranger. We can't look
Not
at
potentially, you are.
You are. You can't look at a situation and be like, oh, I got 150 pounds on them, I'm good, da da da. The way I approach people, you don't know who's armed. Like in my mind, everybody's armed. Everyone. Granny who's 90 years old in the street, kid who looked like he 110 pounds wet, everybody got a firearm on their body someplace, because I can't tell, you know? So when you say, what you can do, it may mean that you have like, yo, y'all need to get out here, call the cops, y'all need to get out here immediately. Because at that point in time, you step up and you do something, and then you do actually die because you didn't know what was going on with the situation. Yeah. Now, who gonna go home to your twins? Yeah, he stepped out there for saving so-and-so, but after 2 months, ain't no one gonna be singing your praises. Yeah. So I think it needs, I think it needs to be a real, not like the dude who, the guy who trained me, who's a black dude, firearms, tactical training, all this, the dude, his philosophy, and I take it not wrong with it, is like anytime you're involved in a fight, whether it's a physical fight or a firefight, you run a risk of two things. Two things can happen. You run a risk of losing, which we never think about. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get up in there, I'm gonna knock him out. No, you run a risk of losing, and you run a risk of dying. Period. If you don't have those two core beliefs in your head when you approach everybody in every situation, you slipping at that point in time. Because the moment you taking off this earth, you can't come back. So if I mean,
that's really almost like in any situation. Like,
yeah, but we're not talking about any situation. We're talking about a specific situation right now.
So, no. I'm saying in the sense of, I could be out and I see one of y'all loved ones out and y'all not around.
Listen to what I'm saying, though. We're talking about a specific thing. If you see a situation out in public dealing with a sister, is it your role to step up in there? And really the question is, if you don't physically address the situation, does that mean you did not protect her or did not attempt to protect her? Like, do I have to physically get up in there? Do I need to?
We don't have to take
time out. Yeah. So Neil said yes. I'm saying, if I know them, what are you saying, Ra?
I'm saying sometimes protection is peeping the situation, taking good notes, calling the 21, I guess they call them now, or 12, or whatever the hell they call them. They call them 5-0 when I was a kid. Call 5-0. One time, call a fuzz. This is the situation. This is what he was wearing. This is what he looked like. I'll be a rat. I'm a snitch. I don't care. Let me tell you what I saw. Now go get that dude.
And I recorded.
Yep, and I recorded it. That may be protection for me. Does not always mean I need to get up in there. Now, if I see that she is in mortal danger, that's a different situation. But I still may not engage. I still may have to be dependent on the situation, because I don't know if he got two people standing around the corner waiting to run up as soon as I engage. So we got to be smart about how we do this, because if we don't, we're gonna get hemmed up.
What you say, John?
Well, I mean, my main thing was I didn't want to take it all the way to the extreme of physical violence. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we all kind of understand that if you see anybody physically being harmed or whatever, we are fairly decent people. We would say something, do something, call the law, whatever. But protecting Black women can take many different forms. It doesn't have to be physical violence. It could be employment. So, you working with a Black woman and you know that she's going through some things or whatever, and you just kind of like, well, that's not my damn problem. That's her problem. the overall gist that I get from the internet is that Black women feel very unprotected, period, in all aspects of life, physical, professional, you name it, sexually, in every which way. They just simply feel unprotected by Black men, period. So to answer the question, I feel like, well, yes, that is a Black man's responsibility to protect Black women. How that kind of plays out in scenario to scenario kind of depends. I am the kind of person that I feel like I would interject myself into a situation. I'm not going to risk my life on purpose, but at the same time, I would like to think that I'm not going to let something crazy go down. But what women always seem to neglect is that Black men don't protect Black women right now, but Black men don't protect Black men either. So if you saw a dude getting his ass kicked on the street, you're not going to just jump in there and be like, hey, y'all, don't beat him down like that. You're going to be like, well, damn, that sucks, and keep it moving. That's just the way it is.
But those are apples and oranges. You talking about Black men who are supposed to fend for themselves, and then you talking about when you switch up the gender, you're talking about an idea of chivalry, and the idea of masculinity means protection of femininity.
Yes, let's get into that.
So I mean, those are apples and oranges.
But wait a minute. So
yeah, I don't.
Let Cage, because Cage had his hand up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm listening to what you're saying, and the work dynamic is very interesting to me because the same concept applies. You don't need to interject yourself into every situation you see conflict in, because when I talk to people and people tell me what they're going through, if they ask me for advice, I give them the best advice that I can. There are Black people out there who don't want any other Black people to be in their circle if they happen to have an elevated position. I'm not one of those folks. I want everybody to get paid. I want everybody to get their money. I want everybody to, live great lives. But again, I don't believe it's every Black man's responsibility to make sure every single Black woman is protected. I think if you have a relationship with somebody, that creates the ownership of protection, or the envelope of protection. It's just kind of like when you watch Meet the Fockers, the circle, whatever that circle was called,
Circle of trust.
Circle of trust. If you in that circle, then we got you. I mean, you don't see. There are gestures of kindness, and then there are just overt gestures. I think what celebrities do sometimes are overt gestures to say, I'm with it. But that don't mean shit. They're not really doing everything that it takes to protect somebody.
Right.
So I think it's really, I think it's unfair, even though they say fair is only at pigs and something else, I was told. It's not right. It's unjustified to place the onus on all Black men to protect all Black women. I think if you are my friend, an associate of mine, I value who you are. Not that what I place value on is more important than the next person, but if I'm going to step out and say something or physically do something, then I need to give a damn about who you are. I have to have a connection with you. If I don't have a connection with you, not that I'm gonna be indifferent, but I'm like, man, where are people at?
I mean, it's illustrated as we see. It's unfortunate, but the recent police killings, George Floyd, everybody was up in arms. People was protesting and screaming and hollering about it. Breonna Taylor had a similar, maybe some people would say even worse situation. And for whatever reason, the energy is much different. The protests have died down. You got people that's still putting up stuff on social media. It's a great day to arrest Breonna Taylor's killers.
That's not true.
How does any of this deals with the topic we talking about?
Because everybody was animated and hyped up about George Floyd protecting Black men, but here's a Black woman that got killed, and all of a sudden it's not the same energy.
That's not true, man.
Okay.
The Not Giving a Fuck crew marched in Kentucky with 1,000 people armed with guns. That didn't happen in Minnesota.
Yeah, no, they had 3,500 people there. NFAC had 3,500 people with armed.
We're going to touch on that. We're going to get on to that.
But no. I can't let you slide with your comment, though. Like I think people, this is kind of one of my issues, I think, with our people. We find every reason to be divisive, in my personal opinion. Now, granted, I may be in the minority because I'm not saying the argument is invalid, but I think we selectively pick what applies to the narrative. I think Rasheem said a couple of episodes ago that he believes that women are unprotected. I apply it personally. What I personally do, what I personally see, who I surround myself with. My friends, I check my friends. My friends check me. I think I saw a video where a dude took a skateboard and hit a woman. Anybody that sees that and laughs at that is foul. I saw it. I was appalled by it. If any one of y'all did that, one of them grabbed the skateboard and I may try to whoop y'all ass. That's accountability. That's, in my opinion, his friends failed him. Their parents failed them. Their community failed them. That's not me.
We part of the community though. And that happens. I mean, we are grown men. We are in our 40s. There's been plenty of instances that maybe we experienced or maybe we witnessed in our youth that was probably a little questionable. You know what I'm saying? In our interactions with women.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
nonetheless, we had to mature and come to a different understanding in time. And nobody was going to be able to imagine if you try to check one of us in our early 20s, mid 20s, and say, hey, you shouldn't be doing the stuff that you're doing. When a woman walks down the street, this is something that has changed dramatically. Street holler, okay? It used to be that as a woman was walking down the street, you could say, hey, you look good. Wow, damn, look at your ass and this, that, and the third. Was it right? No. But did we do it? Yes. Literally can't.
I didn't do that.
I wasn't a street holler.
100%.
Okay, so.
But I think this goes to my point. This goes to a separate point that I wanted to make as Cage was talking. Cage, sometimes it's not always a matter of what we personally have done or have not done, but taking a inventory of what general populace is doing. And in general, what's happening is we can see that there are a lot of instances where things happen to Black women, and in general, a lot of people just may not give a damn.
Boom. Case in point. Megan Thee Stallion. So, quick recap. Megan Thee Stallion was allegedly shot in the foot by Tory Lanez, rappers.
She was shot. Blah, blah. She said she was shot twice, like shot in both feet or something like that. But we don't know who did.
Shot in the foot twice, shot in both feet. When it initially happened and the word got out, the internet went nuts, did all the memes, made fun of her, made jokes and blah, blah, blah. And everybody laughed about it because getting shot in the foot is kind of funny. However, when people heard from her herself and she kind of made everybody feel guilty, she was just like, yo, I really got shot in the foot. There's nothing funny about that. She's right. There is nothing funny about getting shot in the foot. But nonetheless, we as a community damn sure had the memes and made fun of it for that day or whatever until she kind of spoke up. It's a clear example of exactly what people are talking about, where they feel unprotected and so on and so forth. And one more thing, I kind of want to understand like where the progressiveness is here, because we keep getting told men and women are the same. Men and women are equal. There is nothing that women cannot do that men can, and vice versa, blah, blah, blah. But yet there's still this very old-fashioned, traditional sense of men having to protect women. I feel like that's kind of old, you know what I'm saying? And also needs to change as all the other definitions of things gradually start changing in the modern context.
Well,
basically.
I don't know, man. I think it depends. Part of this is the effect of the lack of men in households, based on what you're talking about, or male role models that people had in their households or in the community you're growing up. Probably due to mass incarceration. You could probably connect it to that in some way. I have my viewpoint of relationships is probably an old school one. My grandparents were born in the 30s. That's the relationship I saw growing up, and that's the man that I saw and how he treated women was with respect. My grandma didn't work, so she did all, like, everything around the house. She was a housewife, and so not that I expect my wife to be a housewife, but there are definitely some of those things that I saw that I'm like, you know what, that seemed to work out pretty good for them. They both seem pretty happy. So I have probably what people may see as an antiquated thought process about what I think a house should be. We definitely have old school gender type roles where the man kind of does this, the woman kind of does this. Doesn't mean that that's right. I'm open and smart enough to understand that everybody runs their house differently, and that's fine. Like, it just what works for me and my family. So I don't know if the men that you're talking about, I would imagine they're probably products of an environment that I ain't familiar with, but that don't make me the person that had to be responsible for what their houses or what they kind of do.
I think I know what Rasheem's about to ask. Go for it.
2 points. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. But 2 points. First, there is nothing wrong with women being able to walk and chew gum at the same time. If they want to assert independence and at the same time feel a need to be protected in a traditional chivalrous manner, one does not negate the other. Like, just because you got a 6-figure job and you the VP or the CEO or the principal, that just because you have that doesn't mean, and you have all the independence in the world, doesn't mean that you still can't have an expectation that a man, your man, or a man in your life, or a father in your life, or a brother in your life is going to step up and be your protector. So that doesn't confuse me. Like, if you got that, you got that. It doesn't take away from me what I got to bring to the table, because I have something you don't, which is an extra load of testosterone, which could be used to protect you, among other uses.
And you know why a lot
So
of...
wait, no, I said I had 2. Let me get the second one. Second one, this Megan Thee Stallion thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out if the conversations about protection or Black women are not being protected because the community clowned her getting shot.
Yes.
Because if that's the case, I think that's misplaced. You ain't protected because a Black man shot you and everyone thought it was okay. That's why you weren't protected. Who cares about the damn jokes? This goes back to what I said last week. She got shot and no one's talking about how horrific it was that she got shot. And everyone's like, it is what it is, ha ha he he. And then they crack jokes. And now she's crying on Instagram or whatever live she did. Now, is she crying because she got shot, or is she crying because people are cracking jokes? Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combo of both.
But if we're talking about Black women not being protected because they get clowned over horrific stuff, then it's misplaced. You got shot and no one said anything. No one did anything about it. And it partially may be because you might not be cooperating with the popo, but us protecting you isn't wrapped up in whether or not 50 Cent put a meme out there on you. The protection is whether or not people allowed you to get shot. That's what I think.
Nobody allowed her to get shot. See, here's the whole problem with Megan's situation. And nobody really wants to touch on this. The scuttlebutt is that Megan and the third party, the other chick that was in the car, was kicking this man's ass. Now, Megan Thee Stallion is a stallion, which is a male horse, but nonetheless.
Wait. They were kicking whose ass?
Allegedly, this is allegedly. Megan Thee Stallion, and there's a third woman that was in the car. It wasn't one of the Kardashians, it was somebody else.
From what I understand, that third woman was driving the vehicle.
Perhaps.
So she's driving it, and along with Megan, beating up on Tory?
Beating up on Tory, and what people are thinking, little Tory, so she's 5'9", 5'10". She's a big woman, comparatively. And let's say she's a good 160, 170, okay? What? I mean, she is. She's a big woman.
Yeah, and he was so frightened in
Hold on.
he pulled the gun
Tory
out.
Lanez is 5'3" and 120 pounds.
Get out the car.
He tried. What if he could not get out the car? And I'm just saying, what if? Here's my point. Let me just jump to the end. He is much smaller than she is. She is much bigger than he is. I've known women that will kick men's ass. So if he could do nothing to get her off of him, but shoot his gun, and it unfortunately hit her in the foot, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying that that's something that I would do. I'm just merely saying that's the only logic that makes sense to me of why it happened. And that's why nobody's gotten arrested yet. California got some of the most extreme gun laws on the books. How's this person that's not even from America not arrested, in jail, blah, blah, blah? I'm just saying. Go
I
ahead,
want,
KG.
I want Neil to go because Neil wanted to say something a long time ago, but I just want to make sure my hand was raised so we can come back to me.
Right, I got you. Okay.
I was just agreeing with the point that, you know, we've all evolved. To John's point, 20 years ago, we probably did some crazy things. And I think a lot of women don't feel secure because a lot of men right now, a lot of men have insecurity issues. You know what I'm saying? Keltric's point. Some women feel, to Keltric's point, some men feel, okay, the woman is making more than me. Who cares? You make more than me. I can still love you and hold you down. A lot of men, I think, don't know how to be men anymore. That's what it is. And that creates the insecurity. And that creates the insecurity issues. You know, we touched on it last week, I think. Who are the younger generation under us? Who are their role models? Who's showing them how to be men? You know, how did we become men? We went through a trial by fire and we all succeeded. But I think that's the biggest issue right now. A lot of men nowadays don't know how to be men. So women, they have to carry the best of both worlds. They don't feel protected because, yeah, I may love you, but damn, you don't even know how to hold me down. Shit, I'm gonna do it by myself. And that's the boat for most women right now.
Sad but true.
What, Ra? I see you looking. What?
No, it's Cage's turn.
Does anybody know a woman that shot a man before?
Plenty.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
All right. Was it outrage to protect the man? Just out of curiosity.
Say that again. If a woman shoots a man, is there outrage against the man that was shot?
No, he said, was it? Oh, my bad.
Was there any outrage to say, like, why is there, I mean, it's domestic violence, what it is, really. Like, I think that's probably more of a issue that people should be complaining about. I don't think it has anything to do with black men, black women in protection. My problem with all of this is I see these brothers, these men who are posting these different, they said the most symbolic thing about this is she had to get dressed up in makeup to come on to do a presentation to show her how vulnerable she was around getting shot. And I'm thinking to myself, and some people may be authentic in what they're saying in this. I just feel like a lot of these guys are posting this to try to get some more coochie, personally. I don't know if all these dudes believe what they're saying. I think they're saying a lot of this stuff just to try to get some likes on Instagram and some more pub. I don't think it's authentic, personally. I think some of it is kind of foul. Should she have gotten shot? Hell no. Should she have been whooping that little boy's ass? That shouldn't have happened either. But most of those are not mutually exclusive. Neither one should have occurred in the first place. So I don't condone the violence, and it's all bad.
I have not heard anything about them fighting in the vehicle or her whooping on. I haven't seen it. The most I've seen is that they were potentially in a relationship and that she was in her feelings because he was getting love from or showing love to Kylie Jenner. But I haven't heard any allegations of a physical altercation in the vehicle, which led to gunshots.
There also was that whole Tahiry thing too. Y'all was telling me about. I have no idea who Tahiry and Vado is, but
yeah, Tahiry and Vado, same situation. What happened, Neil? Because you saw that Tahiry and Vado thing.
It was just a segment clip. So my daughter's got me watching Marriage Boot Camp. So pretty much it's couples with, they're trying to rekindle or strengthen their marriage. But anyway, long snippet short is kind of like they're venting because I guess there are two hosts, a doctor and who was that judge? She used to have a judge show back in the days. Anyway, they're giving them relationship advice, and Tahiry is venting. And I think in a clip before they showed it, Tahiry got upset, threw an apple at Vado and it hit him in the face. So then they broke to commercial, came back. So then Tahiry is venting. Vado gets up and just grabs her by her shirt. You know what I'm saying? And just like is on top of her. Now there are other couples. I think they're like 5 couples all together. So the other 4 couples are just bunned up and watching Tahiry almost get choked out. Did he choke her out? No, but he spit her over in a menacing way, grabbed her by the collar, and no man jumped up. Only the male host ran over and was like, yo, you can't be doing this. And that created a whole new stream of, oh my God, she feels unprotected, men are not helping, the whole situation. And that's what John was talking about.
It's a messed up situation. And the thing about it is that we see a whole lot of, we don't see anything as in your face, I guess, is that as a man grabbing a woman or whatever the case is on TV. But we see, you know, different fights and different clips and different memes and stuff. It's an unending parade of this type of stuff. And you can't help but kind of get, have it in your subconscious if you consistently see this. And that's why the women feel the way that they do. And I feel like, I mean, clearly they got a leg to stand on because, I mean, you see what's going on here.
Time out, man. You know, you said that she threw an apple and hit the man in the face, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What's the problem?
Was there any outrage you saw about a man getting hit in the face with an apple?
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about how the
No, that's not my
comment. Should she have thrown an apple in his face?
I'm asking a goddamn question. Was there any outrage that you saw that someone got hit in the face with an apple?
No.
No.
Okay. I don't condone what this man did, but we cannot sit up here and not condone her for what she did too.
Stop right
apple
there.
thrown at you is not the same as being choked out.
I didn't say it was.
Come on now. So
I said that we cannot condone his response. We also can't sit up here and act like it's okay to get hit in the face with an apple. Neither one of those things should occur. These are, in my opinion, these are two immature individuals that are involved in a relationship that probably shouldn't be involved in a relationship.
Facts.
Fair. I agree. But my thing is, this goes back to what we was just saying about tradition.
They're not friends. Other couples ain't they friends. They all get thrown in there together. Not to mention, I want to say this. I know people who are on this reality TV stuff. That stuff is a lot of that stuff is for show too, to generate ratings. It's clickbait. So you don't even know if that's even real.
Agreed. And like it's literally a TV show. So they're on a set. These people might have been sitting over here. Somebody might have been sitting over there. We don't know how everything went. And you're literally looking at the footage that's been edited, blah, blah, blah. Nonetheless, the simple fact of the matter is a woman striking a man is not going to be received the same way that a man striking a woman is, period. It just is not. I mean, call it traditional, or call it whatever you want to call it, fair, unfair, it doesn't matter. That's just not going to be cool. So even it goes back to the Megan Stallion and Tory Lanez thing. If he was kicking her ass, that's not cool. People are not going to be accepting that. If she was beating him down, people are going to be like, you know, should have been able to get her big ass off you, you know, something. It just is the way it is. But it's not, is it fair? No. Is it simply the way that it is? Yes. All that to be said, you got to see the clip, KG, if you haven't seen it.
And then being totally honest, for real. I mean, everybody got their own person's viewpoint, but, you know, women aren't really protected because you've seen dudes walking down the street before, maybe on U Street, maybe in New York, wherever. You see a girl getting her ass whooped by her man. Dudes is going to be standing and go, oh, shit, damn, that's fucked up. Or taking out their video recorder, putting it on World Star or IG. That shit is crazy. You seen a woman get her ass beat and you want to record it? That's a little crazy. So that's the mindset where they coming from, like, I don't feel protected because you're going to be on a busy-ass Georgia Avenue getting your ass beat by your man and nobody stops and they just watch and be like, well, sucks to be you. That shit is crazy.
We've seen it happen.
Go ahead, Rob.
It happens.
I've got nothing to say.
That's a lie.
So on that note, I think that we can all safely say Vado was wrong.
Say it with your chest, Rob.
What's he gonna say? He said he ain't got nothing to say.
He definitely do.
It goes back to the beginning of what the conversation, how it started. Like if you tried to say it wasn't about physical, and then it comes back to physical. She getting a ass beat. Like how do you interject? How do you step in? And if you don't, that means that they're not being protected. When there are other ways of protecting the situation that don't have to lead to you potentially losing your life over a woman you don't know.
Check this out though too. Sometimes you're not qualified to offer the protection. How about that?
Period. It's real. I think something women don't really take into consideration is that men have been sometimes, most of the time, in some type of altercation, argument, whatever you want to call it. So we have a different understanding of the dynamics at play women have most of the time not gotten their asses whooped. They haven't gotten into a fight. So when they see somebody being harmed or whatever, they're like, well, why don't you jump in there? Why don't you say something? You ain't never gotten your ass whooped. You ain't never got hit in the face. So before you start telling me what I need to be doing, I've got like memories of stuff, and I'm trying to like work through what needs to happen. They don't have that same understanding.
Listen, it goes back to the core philosophy, core principles. Anytime you involved in a fight, whether it's a physical fight or a gunfight, you run the risk of losing and you run the risk of dying. Simple as that. When we step up in these situations feeling like we big man and he ain't gonna knock me out and my head won't go back and crack the pavement and I won't get up, I'll get up. Or he's small, he can't take me, and he got a 45 caliber tucked in his pants. You run the risk of losing. You run the risk of dying. If you want to get involved, you better be smart about it. You better know what the hell's going on. You better peep to see if he got peoples around. You better have 911 on speed dial. I ain't no punk, but I will call 911. I ain't got no problem with doing it.
Real quick.
None whatsoever. Because I got a family I'm going to come home to and not get put in the hospital over something over on Georgia Ave. It's not going to happen. So I got to be smart about it. Simple as that.
Makes sense. And that's just something that people unfortunately got to deal with. We got to make good decisions out here in 2020 because it's crazy.
Yeah, and I'll say this: everybody can't be helped. It's impossible. So I think everybody should be selective with who they want to help and how they want to help. I think that's fair on everybody's side, quite frankly. And I'd even think about we ain't talked about this yet. I think it's coming up, but like the whole MacKenzie Scott giving all this money or whatever. So I'm gonna
bring it up. No, go ahead. Talk about it.
No, I'll let you introduce all that stuff.
Well, okay. So now we have delved into the Megan Thee Stallion, Vado, and Tahiry kind of thing. We got to kind of switch gears here a little bit because we're going to talk about men and women and protecting and blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about MacKenzie Scott and giving, how much did she give? 40 million. 40 million is a significant amount of money. However, it pales in comparison to the 38 billion that she got from her husband, Jeff Bezos, who really protected her ass. So what do we think about that? Keltric, you said earlier that you got some kind of issues that you want to get off your chest. You feel like that ain't really a good thing here.
Yeah, I think she wasted her money. She gave, I think, 1.4 billion in total. Here's my thing. If you're rich and you're donating money to like institutions, everything else, I think it's a weak gesture. There's a do the math, but I think it takes 11 hours to count to a million, something like that. 11 seconds. It takes 11 hours to do seconds to equal a million, something crazy like that. But it's 32 years to get to a billion seconds, whatever that number is. I don't think people don't really understand how big a billion is.
It's a lot of money.
There are 330 million people in America. Give everybody $1 million. That's life-changing. Giving Howard University $40 million doesn't help me, doesn't help you, doesn't help you, doesn't help you. Give me $1 million, that helps me. I bet you we can all make the economy that way. So I just feel like if you really want to impact change, give it to individual people and let them make the decision what they want to do with that investment of money, as opposed to giving, and that's less than the 1.4 billion that she gave collectively to all these institutions. And she had money left over. She still could have gave some money to the institutions. So not just her, I think all of these people who have all this money, made up the back mostly of poor people, it's terrible, man. Just give it to the people, let the people do something with it, and that's a significant investment.
Well, Rod, clearly you want to jump in on this because I'm gonna follow up with that too.
No, I think it's a reasonable gesture. I think that well, one, I've always been of the mindset that we can't tell people what to do with their money. It's their money, however they got it. If they want to give it and splurge and do something stupid or idiotic with it, that's on them. But I don't know how practical it is for them to give $1 million away to each person. I don't know what the laws are on gifts. I'm pretty sure there are laws that multimillionaires can't just write off $1 million checks to individuals, but giving it to an institution that has not just, Howard, Hampton, Xavier in Louisiana, giving it to institutions that have the ability to impact the lives of poor people. Because right now, the majority of the students who are at Howard, Hampton, and Xavier are coming from low-income households, and now they have an opportunity to go on and get a degree and break the cycle of poverty in their own family. That's a phenomenal thing. Now, what the institutions do with that money might be another question, but I think that's something that should be applauded.
I'm going to use my Howard education here real quick and say that basic economics tells us that when you influx a whole bunch of cash into the system, supply and demand states that suddenly everything costs a whole lot more because the demand is going to shrink. Suddenly everybody got $1 million. They're going to run out and spend everything. Everything's going to cost more. Inflation sets in. That's not a good idea, KG. So that's also why I don't want everybody to get a check for reparations. People swear up and down, oh, I want a check. I want a check. What can I do for me? What's going in my pocket? You get nothing. We want to have institutional change, which is why gifts to your Howards, the Morehouses, the Spelmans of the world that are used to educate the next generation and therefore lift all boats with that, additional education is a much better use of her money than giving everybody $1 million. I would love $1 million, don't get me wrong, and here's also something, a lot of people won't know what to do with the $1 million. They just won't. I'm one of them. I'm going to go out, I'm going to pay off debt. Well, who helps that? The Bank of America ain't owned by Black people. That's money straight out of my pocket into somebody else's pocket.
You still got to pay off that debt regardless, though.
First of all, inflation is going to happen anyway. It's going to happen anyway. So if everybody, poverty is a significant pull on the economy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't impact the people that got $38 billion or $100 billion or $1 trillion what Bezos is on his way to having. It impacts all of us on this call and most of the people that we probably know. Mm-hmm. She gave away less than 4% of her net worth. If I gave away 4% of my net worth, I would probably be poor. Most of y'all would probably be 4% of your net worth. I won't be poor, but I would feel it way more than she's feeling her 1.4.
Yeah, but this isn't going to be the only thing she does, though. Like when people get to, there's a giving pact with folks who have that much money that they're committing to giving away a certain amount, and some of them it's like they're giving away $100 million every single year. Because they have that, so it's not going to be one bulk giveaway. But she understands that she can't take this money with her. She could set her family up, and then the rest, she gives to who she wants to give, how she wants to give, on the time schedule she wants to give it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's amazing. I hope that there are controls in place at some of these schools to ensure that it goes where it's supposed to go and it's spent in a good, constructive manner and not used to, update somebody's house or whatever.
I didn't say she couldn't do both. She could still give money to the schools, but there's 330 million people in America.
Right.
She could do much better. More people would benefit of them getting that money than giving it to schools directly.
We need someone to do the research on giving. You can't, I don't think you can just give away millions of dollars to individuals.
It would be a tax write-off.
There has to be corporate giving, nonprofit status, all that good stuff. I don't think you could just say, I'm going to give millions of dollars to people, line up and get it. I don't think you can do that.
Hey.
Why can't you?
Because of laws. There may be there may be tax laws in place.
Oh, there's definitely some laws
that prevent people from giving away a certain amount of money as a gift. You near your computer, look that up. If there are tax laws in place to prevent excessive gift giving, donation.
But let's just say she gives everybody $1 million. Federal government takes half off the top, and then depending on what state you government in, you know, what state you live in.
Feds ain't taking half. Rich folks take pay far less in taxes.
Well,
That's
you
why
ain't rich.
that's why rich folk
million.
that's why rich folk love Trump, because they're not paying no taxes.
Okay, 20%, whatever it is. So it's less than $1 million. She says everybody's getting $1 million. Really gonna wind up with, let's say, 500,000. 500,000 still life-changing money.
Still went to 50%.
I mean, once your state, your Fed, we getting into the weeds.
Okay, go ahead.
My point being is that everybody's going to take the 500,000, 800,000, 1 million, whatever it is, and spend it. Very few people are going to invest it. Of that 340 million people that's in America, whatever, vast majority are going to say, I'm going to go pay off my house. I'm going to pay off my credit cards. She could make
that stipulation too. I'm giving everybody $1 million, and that's used to eradicate everybody's debt. Use it all towards your debt or purchasing some property. She could make the same constraints for the schools she give the money to.
I'm sure she has. Please believe, I know this money came with all kinds of strings. It had to. Ain't no way.
It doesn't say anything that prevents her from doing that, Ra. I mean, I just did a quick search, but it could be done.
This reminds me of Brewster's Millions. For some of you young people out there on the internet, check that movie out. It's old, but it's good. Anyway, okay, so MacKenzie Scott gave away her money. It is what it is. She's out here protecting Black people. We need more MacKenzie Scotts, in my opinion. We need to get into...
Does Oprah protect Black people?
Okay.
Does Oprah do what?
Does she protect Black people?
Well, yes, if you were in Africa. If you're here, maybe not. Oprah protects herself, so hey.
We don't know everything that Oprah may have or may not have done for Black people.
True.
Very
true. This is all rampant speculation. We don't know.
Speculation. I mean, she put Breonna Taylor on the cover of O.
Talk about it.
Time in 20 years that she has not been on the cover. Is for Breonna Taylor. She had her statement, if you turn a blind eye to racism, you become an accomplice to it. And you know how many white women love them some O.
Mm-hmm.
So she is telling those white women who have been a part of supporting her brand that if you're not addressing racism, you're an accomplice.
Flat out.
And quite honestly, it goes back to something I said a long time ago. White folk are the ones who are going to be largely responsible for stopping racism.
Facts.
So until white folk hear that message, internalize it, and stop their behaviors, racism will not stop. We've been fighting a good fight since we've been here. It's still going on. So long as you have one good white person who's willing to be a good racist, we'll still have racism.
Y'all better get ready to still have racism, because it is not in white people's... I think sometimes we get really caught up on the internet and we think that the internet is real. It's not really real. It's performative. It's what people want other people to read.
What is that? What are you saying? What does that mean?
I'm going to bring this up. White people, the society is a white superiority society, for lack of a better word.
You mean America?
What's up?
America?
America. I'm talking about the West. America, yes, for lack of a better word. It is in white people, regular, old, average white people's interest to maintain the society the way that it is. Literally, it's in their own self-interest. So if the argument is only white people can end racism, and that's your goal, ending racism, number one, you're going to fail. Number two, white people ain't doing that because it's not in their interest to do that. We think that all white people are like the ones we see online. No, those are the outliers, the people that we see online, these woke white people that are like, Black Lives Matter and all this other good stuff, which is wonderful. Keep doing that, white folks. But the vast majority of white people are not paying any kind of attention to that and don't particularly like the idea of it and want things to remain the way that they are.
And that's why I think it's important that Oprah, a Black woman that resonates with so many white women, put in their faces what they have to do in order to not be complicit in racism. Like, she has to use that platform to communicate to the people who listen to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an important thing to do, because I mean, how do you expect racism to stop if white folk don't stop it?
I don't think racism is going to stop. Racism will always exist. Always. Always. There's always going to be anti-Black sentiment in America, period. Yeah. Forever.
I don't know if I can disagree with that.
Global. In fact, I'm going to take it outside of America. I'm going to say globally. There's always going to be the other. There's always going to be a fear of the other person.
Rein it back in. We're talking specifically about
America.
Okay.
And black, white.
Okay.
So we're posing a hypothetical here.
Mm-hmm.
You think that? I hear what you're saying, and a lot of me wants to say you're right, but the optimist in me wants to say, as white people no longer maintain their majority, that can dwindle, like the opportunity for racism can dwindle. I think the projections were Hispanics, Latinos are going to be the majority, I think in 30 years, something like that.
Something like that, correct, yes.
Yeah.
I got one quick point.
I think I'm with you on this one, John, go ahead.
Oh, you already know, I'm originally from Texas, Internet. Latino people don't particularly like Black people.
Oh, I wasn't thinking that.
Asian people don't particularly like Black people. Black people don't particularly like Asian people. Black people don't particularly like Latino people. What are you
saying? Where are you getting this from?
Life
in Texas.
You're saying you don't like these people.
Right, because life in New York will look a lot different.
Oh my God, son. Okay, so we gonna say that the Latinos in New York were more non-racist than.
I want you to tie it to the topic.
How? Okay, we were talking about
Neil going to sleep.
Oprah.
I'm not.
Neil's like, man, whatever. We was talking about, is Oprah doing the right thing, saying anything? Is she helping Black people at all? Obviously she is. If for no other reason, if she never put nobody Black on the cover, just her existence is a symbol and very helpful to Black people, in my opinion, period. So that is what it is. Putting Breonna Taylor on her cover is very nice and very symbolic, and okay, whatever. Do I think that that's necessarily going to make white people that do not like Black people? First of all, white people that don't like Black people ain't picking up Oprah's magazine, period. So
I don't know if that's true either.
Oh, God damn. You think white people that don't like Black people are listening to Oprah?
There are white people who don't like Black people who love Michael Jackson.
Thank you.
Michael
Jordan.
Prince, Tyson, Oprah, love them, but pretty much don't like Black people. And
those are facts.
And this goes to the point of why I said it was important when she did that. Because if we're talking about the attitudes of racism within white America, we as Black Americans are not largely responsible for changing that attitude. That is an attitude that white America must change. That's my only premise. Whether it happens or not is something completely different. I wasn't talking about whether or not it's going to happen. My only premise is, if it's going to happen, if white people are going to no longer be racist, then white people have to make those changes. And
is that the goal? To eradicate?
I'm not saying that's the goal. I'm giving you a premise to unpack. If racism is going to be changed and ended, who's largely responsible for doing it? Now I'm not asking whether or not it will. Who's going to be responsible for doing it? So when Oprah puts on the cover of her magazine, white women, if you're turning a blind eye to racism, you are an accomplice to it. Then that means those white women will look at that cover, they'll be, oh, am I? And then they're going to have to start having conversations within their own communities.
Some white people even know who Breonna Taylor is.
True. Many. Most.
And this is my problem with it. I appreciate the gesture, to your point. Oprah could have done this years ago. She could have put Alton Sterling on the cover. She could have put the brother that got shot 40-something times in New York on the cover. She could have put Trayvon Martin on the cover. She could have put a myriad of these entities and people on the cover to start this conversation years ago. I think it is very convenient to do it now in the age of all these corporations making these statements that are in support of Black Lives Matter. Oprah, for a very long period of time, like Michael Jordan, was apolitical. It was financially uncertain, unstable, unpopular to pick a side. So she played it neutral for quite a long period of time. It wasn't until Barack started running in 2004, right? Or 2008.
For president?
Yeah. Whenever Barack became prominent and was running for president, that's when she came out. Say it again?
I said I'm too old. The years blur for me. Whenever you ran for president.
Like that.
Yeah. And so when that happened, that's when she came out as more of a political figure. And she had retired from doing her show and got her own network. So it was like she was firmly established. So I think it's incredibly convenient to do it now. Now, do I appreciate it? Will it make a difference? Yes. But I think she could have been doing this many years ago.
She could have. And my thing is, she's doing it now. You know what I'm saying? She's doing it now. Like people grow, because I see John and him screwing up his face too. But she's doing it now, and I don't want us to get to a point where folks who have the platform to do it are now reluctant to do it because their own community is going to be like, well, why are you doing it now? Damned if I do, damned if I don't.
This is true.
But forget it, I won't do nothing. No, whenever you're ready, whenever you're willing, whenever you're able, come on, let's put in this work.
We'll take it, no doubt. Yeah. But you should be criticized too. Because, she did elect to put a school in South Africa. She could have did both. So could have put one.
So we should criticize her for picking and choosing her battles.
I don't know if it's picking and choosing your battle. I think it's more convenient to pick your battle and exercise your authority now when it's
what everybody's doing.
There's no pushback for her to do it right now. What is she at risk of losing at this current moment?
I'm sure that she's lost plenty of subscribers by coming out the way that she has done. But I mean, she is a very established entity and all that other good stuff. She'll be fine. Rasheem, is she a billionaire?
Yes.
Is she a what?
Is Oprah a billionaire?
Yes.
I think she hit her first billion.
No, Oprah's like 1.4, maybe even 2 right now.
She did that what, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Interesting. Rasheem, I wanted to follow up on one quick thing. You said, who is going to end racism? Number
2.6 billion Oprah worth.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. She can give me some of that.
Would you say Kanye is going to end racism?
Kanye is going to enhance racism because he's making me racist against Black people. So, unfortunately, Kanye still exists. He's still out there. He's still doing his thing. We don't know what is happening. What is the latest with Kanye, KG? What's going on with him?
So Kanye, at one point, the thing was he was going to withdraw his presidential, run. He had his South Carolina speech, which people got the excerpts, and it was all, I think most people would agree it was a disaster. But then, he had what people thought was a breakdown, and people were kind of up in arms. Last week I said he needed to be held accountable. But since then, he's apologized to his wife for dragging their dirty laundry into the public. And he put out an attack on Joe Biden and said that, Joe Biden can't stop him, and he's going to win the presidential election. And I really don't understand. Most people are like, why are you talking about Joe Biden? He's not the president. Like, why you don't put Donald Trump's name in your mouth in your tweets or attack him? And I think if anybody has half a brain, they see what's going on with this guy. He's a Trump puppet, in my opinion, because he came out as a Trump supporter. He said he disavowed him, but that don't mean shit. I think this dude's a clown.
Truly. No, I mean, he's got no slight to anybody that's having, mental, psychological issues or whatever the case is. It's very serious, blah, blah, blah. If you having, manic, depressive, bipolar episodes on a regular basis, your ass don't need to be running for president. So that pretty much seals the deal as far as I'm concerned with all things Kanye. I don't even want to necessarily hear his music at this point. I think he just needs to sit his ass down in Wyoming, raise his children, make some money, get your mind right, and then maybe come back out to the public sphere. I have no desire to interact or engage on anything political with Kanye because he is a joke, and we are in an extremely serious time. There's plenty of people that are going to vote for Kanye for president just because he's Kanye West. I feel like that's very, very dangerous.
I don't know, man. He
Please don't tell me you're gonna vote for him.
No, I'm just saying, like, we could put him in a box and forget about him, but there's gonna be I think there's gonna be a bunch of people who are gonna take him serious, and if not take him serious, take him as a prank, and he will be the prank vote for 2020. Like, especially voters who don't take serious the responsibility behind having their voice heard politically. I think they'll go in there and be like, hee, I voted for Kanye, and TikTok their ass voting for Kanye. And I think you got to be mindful of it because, once again, I do not believe Trump is going to win this. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think Biden will win in a landslide. Said it again. I've been making predictions, y'all. Remember, I predicted we was going to hit that 160,000 people dead mark. So we're going to hit that. We're about to hit that soon. So my prediction.
We're going to hit 200.
Say again?
We're going to hit 200.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to hit multiple. Man. Yeah. But I do think there are going to be people like TikToking, Snapchatting, Facebook, Instagram living, just so people can be like, yeah, I voted for Kanye, look. And it's going to cost us.
I hear you. I think people will vote for him, but I think people that are lazy to vote won't go out there and just spend their time to go vote for Kanye. I think they're going to be people who vote anyway that will vote for Kanye.
Right.
But I don't think there are extra people who have never voted before that's going to go out and say, you know what, there's one time because Kanye's running, I'm going to go out and do it. I don't think people are going to be that excited about it like they were for Barack.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, but will it be enough people to take away from the Democratic vote that's needed for Joe Biden to beat Trump?
I mean, no. I think the same. I think Republicans will vote for Kanye. I mean, I think Elon Musk is probably more like independent, but I think he said he's supporting Kanye. Although, by the way, plug Elon Musk is building the next Tesla supercharged plant in Texas. We'll take it.
I kind of want a Cybertruck. I want that Tesla truck, baby. Looks good.
It's tight. It's tight.
It's tight. It's tight.
What you got, Neil, man? I know you quiet, bro. You good?
Nah, man, I'm on these painkillers, dog. That painkiller is no joke.
Okay, I thought we were talking about something else.
No, literal painkillers, brother.
Okay.
Well, you still got an opinion. You good? What's up? About Kanye?
I mean, with Kanye, when have we ever really taken Kanye seriously?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about as far as like his antics, like his behavior. Like this is typical Kanye. Like I don't know what it was John that was saying. He's always going to have a following. He's always going to have people that support him to some degree. So, I mean, his behavior right now doesn't surprise me. I mean, how many years ago did he come on stage and interrupt? What was the name of the country music star when he was like, "I think such and such are the one." Who did he interrupt? That he started off.
Yes, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, from back then, like Kanye is always doing something crazy or out of pocket.
When Kanye said George Bush don't like black people, I mean that was big. That was
saying, but
Kanye.
He's been doing that antics like that since back when, So this is really nothing new. This is not like oh my God, Kanye is actually being serious right now. He's actually taking a stance. This is like, it's another Kanye antic.
Kanye moment. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Neil. You know what I'm saying? He does the kind of crazy type stuff. The crazy thing to me is I'm sure in his mind, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like he woke up one day and was like, yo, I'm gonna run for president. And I got to do this. And he went out and, and the people around him are such sycophants, except for Kim, I think. and such yes men that they was like, yeah, Kanye, you run for president. It's a very dangerous scenario for him. I think that's why I say he needs to relax, recharge, retire from, you know, the public sphere and just get his mind right in general. Because I'm a big Kanye West fan. I want him to go back to making music. I want him to go back to, you know, doing all that kind of stuff. It's unfortunate what's going on with him in a nutshell. Speaking of unfortunate, shout out to, well, I guess shout outs is not a good term. But
Yeah, he said that he can beat Biden off of write-ins. Like he's not even addressing 45.
Wow. See? You don't even respond to something like that. Like, okay.
But I can tell you this, it got 149,000 likes or hearts on Twitter. He said it twice. The first time he put it in lowercase, and then the next time he put it in all caps.
that to me says he's on drugs. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, John Lewis. Speaking of, to switch gears from somebody that has no meaning.
Where can they find us, John? Where can they find us?
Yes. We got to talk about where you can find us. Straight No Chaser, the podcast. We're everywhere. We are on Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, straight with an 8, No Chaser, the podcast. Google us or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all of that. So tell your friends about that. John Lewis, rest in peace.
Amen.
Other than that, gentlemen, I mean, I feel like, unfortunately, we touch on this all the time. COVID, the government, Trump, you know, still stupid, still crazy, still outrageous. Yet another week. Unfortunately, I think that the COVID thing has blown up out of control. We had this discussion 4 or 5 weeks ago where we said, you know, as everything starts to slowly open up again, we're going to see a second wave. Well, we're in the midst of the second wave, and it's a damn tsunami. So 160, 150,000 people have died already. Millions have been sickened. There's no end in sight. What is the end game here for y'all? What would it take for you to feel comfortable walking around in public?
Well, let's identify some specific things that have taken place, though, because when we talk about COVID and people interacting with each other, big old pictures, everyone, you know, flashed them of Herman Cain at the Tulsa rally. Now, you can't really prove that it was the Tulsa rally that was the reason why he got COVID. Herman Cain passed away. Rest in peace of Herman Cain. I don't agree with his politics. But I mean, when a man dies, that's a period at the end of his sentence, and it should be a level of respect that goes along with that. But he got COVID 9 days after the rally. Now he could have contracted it anytime after the rally. He could have contracted it like right before the rally and was asymptomatic.
I'm gonna speculate he caught it at the rally. How about that?
I don't want to make that speculation. And I just, because you don't know.
I will make that speculation.
But here's my thing. I won't make this speculation because I don't necessarily think it matters whether or not he got it at the rally. I think what matters is his mindset that you could float around here unprotected and this thing, it's not an issue and you won't get it. So whether you got it at the rally or whether you got it in a different city or state, it's because your mindset is, and he was a critic of you know, the COVID precautions. Your mindset is, I don't need those precautions. So that's why. But go ahead. Why would you say the rally?
I think the rally for him, people who went to the rally, it was against all medical professionals' direction, opinion to say, you know what, that's a bad idea. It was a political statement to attend the rally.
Right.
He went to the rally knowing that this is going on, but said this is a joke. There are people out there still that think this is a joke. The irony of it is that he attended the rally, he dies, and 45 makes no mention about his death at all today, when everybody has noted that this man contracted it and passed away from it. the other representatives, the other senators, I don't know any senators that got it, but definitely the other reps who have caught COVID-19 that are GOP party members. And there's been no conversation that 45 has said at all about them. So I find it just the irony of it. And it, you know, I don't agree to Ross, but I don't agree with Herman Cain's politics at all. But somebody posted a clip that I listened to and I kind of dug a little bit deeper on it. He's a smart dude, man. He knows numbers, very intelligent. He supports, you know, black businesses. I mean, just a smart businessman. And I don't have to like everything somebody says to respect him. I respect his opinions. I think they may be wrong. Clearly, he was wrong on COVID-19. And didn't take it serious and it cost him his life. So rest in peace, brother. And I call everybody brother at this point. So I hope he sleeps well.
I mean, the sad fact of the matter is, as we've said on many an occasion, it's here. COVID is here. This is the new normal, in my opinion. We're going to be in masks going forward. This whole situation is having impacts that we don't really see or can't really understand right now because it's steadily changing. So like the way we go to school is going to change. The way we go to college is going to change. The way that we go to work is going to change. Like all of that, because this ain't going anywhere. It's not. I mean, we're not going to eradicate it. You can look at other examples across the world where they so-called shut it down or whatever the case is, and then something happens and it pops back up. That's because it's a virus. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be here. So it's very sad what happened to him. I don't applaud anybody dying for many reasons, but at the same time, it's like you don't wear the mask and you don't wear the gloves, and this is kind of what happens.
Well, here's the numbers. So in America, the recovery rate is basically 97%. The mortality rate is 3.4%. It's actually going down. In the last 14 days, it's been 4.2%. If you're over 60, it's 15.8%. He was over 60. Mm-hmm. The percent of fatalities with comorbidities is 88%. The percent of the population tested has been 17%. So most people recover. But what people don't know or think about is the lingering effects after you recover. People have had amputated fingers, limbs, etc., because of, you know, how much of an impact this has. Their lungs have been totally, you know, impacted. I mean, it's serious, man. One of my coworkers got it, and she was like, man, this is like the worst case of the flu she's ever had in her life. Like, she's like, it's kicking my ass.
It's terrible. It's a very sad situation. We are not done with it, and I think it's going to be having impacts for a very, very long time. I just read today that the American economy contracted like the most amount that they've ever had.
34%, something like that?
Something like that.
34%. GDP was negative 34.2%. That was the largest drop of GDP in history ever. Like worse than the Great Recession we had back in 07, 08. I think the Great Depression, it beat it by like 10 percentage points, roughly 10 percentage points. So this thing is bad. And it's the second quarter in a row. So we are officially in a recession. You have GDP looking that bad for 2 quarters in a row.
I mean,
this does not bode well for your boy 45. So John, it really does not looking good for you to win this bet.
Yeah, but 45 got a plan. He got a plan. What he's gonna do is he's gonna try to get the election pushed back and stalled. The problem is Congress is responsible for setting the election date. President can't touch that. And right now, there's no way the House of Representatives is going to be like, you're right, Mr. President, let's postpone the election. That ain't going to happen.
I just want to be very clear about what I'm trying to say. Yes, Trump is going to win in November. The reasons that he's going to win, and I'm not a Trump supporter by any stretch of the imagination. However, number one, he's got the majority of the majority. The vast majority of white people are still going to vote for him. I know y'all don't think that might be true, but it is. Number two, he has a demonstrated ability to use social media much better than his opponents or than other people. He's playing by rules that nobody else does.
Have you seen the Lincoln Project?
Say that again.
Do you see or follow the Lincoln Project?
The Lincoln Project. No, I don't, Keltric. Tell me about the Lincoln Project.
No, just give it a look. Look at their Twitter, look at their IG.
But tell them about it, so they because you're not just telling him, you're telling other people, folk. Tell them a little bit.
It's a Republican political action committee, think tank or whatever, sponsored and generated by Republicans and they're using Republican themed strategies to go do anti-45 messaging. When I'll tell you it's effective, they be hitting some home runs with some of their propaganda. I would strongly encourage you to take a look at it, John. It's reaching a significant population. Their funding has been through the roof lately. And it's plenty of Republicans that are like, you know what, I'm voting for Joe Biden. And those are the people who follow them are like, you know what, I'm doing the exact same thing too. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a grounds for the people that look at this dude trampled over the Constitution. He's interfering with the DOJ, stuff that's going on in the Supreme Court. He's in the White House with Goya products saying, buy this stuff. That's outlandish. Like traditionalists looking at this like, man, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, here's one thing, again, to kind of tie it all back up. He has been very out with his racial rhetoric, let's just say. It's working. I mean, it just simply is.
So I looked at some of the census information while I was talking. In 2010, 72% of Americans identified as white, non-Hispanics. 2010, 72. In 2020, or at latest number, 60% of Americans identify as white, non-Hispanic. So let's say he does get the majority. Let's say he does get 51% of white folk, right? So you're talking about maybe 31% of half of that would be 31%, right? You still got the rest of those white folk. And I'm not, that's everybody, man, woman, and child. Children ain't gonna vote. I think you're gonna have a groundswell, as Cage said, of white women who are like, we gave you a chance, we're not messing with you. Conservative white men who said, I'm voting for you because I'm Republican, giving you a chance. And then you're gonna have the white folk who were just sexist and wouldn't vote for Hillary the first time. All of them are gonna combine and be like, no, we're not voting for you, Trump. We gave you a chance. You didn't work. It didn't work. And you know, pride goeth before the fall. You know, we're not gonna be so prideful in our ideology and just vote you in for another term when we see what you've done thus far. Economy stinks.
Is that his fault?
Yes.
And I would say whether his fault or not, does he have the tools and the ability to bring us out of it? Currently, what he's showing is he doesn't. He's putting us in a deeper and a worse position to deal with the virus, so that we can't jumpstart the economy. Like you said, the virus is here.
First of all, he's alienated a lot of our allies. So there's nobody that's going to want to do business with us in any significant way. He's really trying to go to war with China. He's avoiding Russia at all costs. Like, he will not come out and say anything critical of Russia. The U.S. passport is shit right now. I mean, you can literally wipe your ass with the paper that the U.S. passport is printed on right now. You can go to maybe like 5 places. So, you know, he has diminished the whatever shine people had on in the USA. It is doo-doo right now.
Can't make no money. Can't get no jobs. Can't lead a country.
Wow, man.
Y'all can't leave your house, or you get coronavirus and you die. You really think they're going to reelect him?
If I could put money on this some kind of way,
you can. We did already.
Y'all, I already have. I'm talking about, like, I need to put more money on it, because
like draft style.
100%. I also want to just reiterate, if you are basing your hopes for the future on white people doing the right thing, good luck with that. Anyway,
you stereotype white people so critically, man. It's funny.
Right. You talk so bad about them.
I feel like this is very, if not factual, it is very conservative of an outlook. If I was a white person, I'm a regular Joe Schmo white dude living in Kansas. I look at Joe Biden, who is rolling with Black Lives Matter, who might have a black woman as his vice president, who is Barack's best friend, and all these other wonderful things. I'm kind of disturbed about that.
No, I think you got to just pose that against a different thing. Barack Obama won with the actual the popular vote, and also the
Electoral college.
The electoral college, right? America was we were viewed in a much different capacity, right? I think most people care about how people perceive them. Most people do. And at this stage of the game, if you travel someplace and you say you're an American, nobody's looking at you with the same level of, man, you from America, but you got with Barack and everything else y'all got going on. It's like, stay away from me. Like we don't want you around. It's just super critical. People want to get back to being accepted. People want to get back to making their money where people can go hand in hand and kind of do things together. And this kind of goes away. He is not allowing it to go away. He's not doing anything to kind of squash it. He is actually throwing more fuel to the fire. He is antagonizing it. Mm-hmm. And so you can't make money that way. You can't make as much as you can, as you used to. And if anything that we know in the capitalist society, you want to make as much money as possible. He's putting a cap on how much money most people can make. And that ain't cool for most people. They're like, get this dude the fuck out of here. So we get somebody in here that allow us to kind of get this thing going again.
Yep. And I tell you, and you for real about how people are looking at us across the world, man. I mean, me and the wife was over in Europe. I mean, we met people who were like, we're not coming back to the States until Trump is no longer president. Like these foreign folk, they're like, yeah, we love America. We love to visit. We ain't visiting so long as y'all president. That affects money, man. And that's a widespread. That's a widespread idea that folks are like, nah, we're not going to America.
Do y'all think that Joe and Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack in Nebraska give a damn what people in France, China, England got to say about America? They don't give a damn about that.
I think he give a damn, and he can't sell the stuff that he makes on his farm.
They go to Trump and get
those subsidies.
Subsidies.
Yeah, but they still got issues with that because they didn't get. Not everyone got the subsidies, and then the subsidies ain't take care of them forever. They don't go back to the till. You know what I'm saying? So there's a bottom to that barrel. Okay. And now they're stuck. They can't sell no food because restaurants aren't open. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's the economy is just trash. And so Joe Sixpack in Nebraska may not care, but the people who are responsible for making money and moving the economy along absolutely do. And those are the ones that matter.
And point of order, they're doing amazing right now. The stockholders, the stock market, the big companies, they're getting paid left, right, and center. Now, who's suffering are poor people. Who's suffering are middle-class people. However, that's not Trump's base. He don't give a damn about them people. He cares about the rural people. He cares about the suburban people. He cares about business owners. He cares about stockholders and things of this nature.
Those are middle-class people for the most part.
Like I said, we all gonna be here in November. I hope I'm totally wrong. I hope y'all are totally right. That said, I'm merely saying that.
Why don't we up the ante of the bet then? Just raise the value then if you feel that strong about it.
To what?
I mean, you tell me.
Why don't we do this every damn weekend? So the original bet was what? $1 a piece or what? Well, something like that, right?
It was $5 or something like that.
It was
$5 a piece. Let's say it's $5 a piece. We can make it 10. I'll take y'all's $30. It's not like I would spend it normally on a bar tab. Can't do that now, but.
Because, I'm down. It don't matter to me.
Cash at me, baby.
All right, so last thing that we could throw out there just to see if there are any thoughts on this. Stella Immanuel. You got
Basura.
Demon Seed, alien DNA, and she done worked with 350 people, so she knows there's a cure for COVID.
Basura.
Well, first of all, tell people who she is because somebody don't know who she is.
Basura.
She is a physician that works in Houston. I believe Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's in Houston, Texas. I believe she was also trained in Nigeria.
Probably.
She was trained in Africa. She went to medical school in Africa. She is part of a conglomerate of physicians that traveled to the District of Columbia recently, had a press conference indicating the efficacy of hydroxychloroquine.
Right.
That hydroxychloroquine works, and as a nation, we need to give it a chance. So they had a press conference, and everyone was pretty much saying something at the press conference. But the only one that went viral was Stella, Dr. Immanuel, because she got up there and she was like, first she was up there for like 15 minutes when everyone else probably just took 2. And then she was just like, listen, there's no reason to wear a mask. I've treated 355 patients. None of them died. You know why? Because there's a cure for hydroxychloroquine. For coronavirus. You give them hydroxychloroquine, the Z-Pack, erythromycin, and zinc. Give them all that, they're cured.
Basura.
Right. And people are like, we've been doing the hydroxychloroquine, and folks have been dying. Like, that's not a cure. And then they found, because she's also heavily into some form of Christianity that I
think demons come out of people's pussies.
They say demons coming out of people's vaginas.
Demons.
Well, I meant to say vagina, but you can cut that.
Yes. So that's the situation with Stella.
I mean,
got any thoughts of that? So we can wrap it up.
There you go. I mean, she's a bum. It's terrible that we give a platform to people like that, and that people are so desperate for solutions that there's probably some people that heard her and was like, yes, and went out there and did something stupid. Dude, it's unfortunate.
First of all, it was reposted by so many Black celebrities. Pete Rock posted it. Michael Blackson, plenty of people posted it. 45 Sun posted it. Say that again, Neil.
No, I'm saying that's crazy. That so many people just jumped on that bandwagon and just spread it like wildfire.
And I had friends send that stuff to me in DM, and I'm like, don't DM me this.
Thank you.
I'm like, don't believe the hype. Why are you even sending this to me?
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually tell people, I actually get upset sometimes when people send me stuff I think is trash, which is basura. Like, I don't need. I never watched it. Like, I saw like a heading. I'm like, I don't need to read this or listen to this because there's no substance to the messaging. Like, I'm all open for whatever, but that's ridiculous. Mask work, in my opinion, it helps. So I'm not going out there, jumping out there, acting like this thing ain't real when I know my mother caught COVID. So I'm not out here thinking that this thing isn't legit. There's too many people I know that have been impacted by this, too many people I know that have passed away from this. And the fact that people take it less than serious, and you got this clown that is supposed to be a doctor, and some of these anti-mask folks, anti-COVID-19 people up there, using it as a puppet to say, you know what, she said she agrees, and using it because she's Black. Let's just be honest. Straight no chaser. They're doing it because she's a Black woman. Period. In this story, it is some bullshit. Facts.
Well, I mean, unfortunate, but we don't have another one for next week. And on that note, please like us, subscribe. Straight No Chaser, the podcast. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Anchor, Instagram, Facebook, all of the above. Fellas, y'all got any last words, anything? That's it?
Sick and tired of injustice.
There you go.
Peace out, y'all.
Bottom line.
Feel better, Neil.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Peace.
And on that note, we're going to say peace out, God bless, and good night. straight, no chaser.